When I was 18, I sustained a left leg injury, resulting in a lifelong disability, all to save Alexander Caldwell. Out of gratitude for my life-saving act, he got engaged to me against everyone's wishes, promising to take care of me for the rest of his life. But for the next 10 years, until I was 28, we remained engaged. Just as I gathered the courage to propose to him, I unexpectedly overheard a conversation between him and his friend. "Alex, I heard Sarah Miller is planning to propose to you. She must be desperate to get married. She's such a fool. You've dragged this on for 10 years without marrying her. Anyone with eyes can see you don't love her, yet she seems oblivious." Then came Alexander Caldwell's cold voice. "What, do you pity her?" "No, it's just that she got hurt saving you, after all. Chloe Miller is returning home tonight. Haven't you thought about what happens if she finds out? Chloe Miller and I got our marriage certificate abroad, and besides, with her being Sir's sister, it's perfectly normal for me to see her. If she hadn't used her life-saving act to bind me back then, why would I have ever gotten engaged to her? Chloe Miller has always been the one I love. Letting her keep the title of being part of the family home is already more than generous of me." So, the love I had so desperately pursued was nothing more than moral blackmail in Alexander Caldwell's eyes. Looking at the disability I incurred saving him, tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. "Since you see my love as a burden, then I'll proactively release you from it." I turned and dialed a number. "Are you still waiting for me?" I hung up the phone. It wasn't until all my emotions had settled that I wiped away my tears and went inside. The moment I stepped in, a contemptuous voice rang out. "Sarah Miller, you're dressed like that, trying to pressure Alex into marriage, aren't you?" "Miss Miller, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but Alex is already engaged to you. It's not like he's going to run away, is he?" A woman proposing. What would people say about Alex if word got out? After saying that, he walked contemptuously towards me, and roughly pulled off my veil, throwing it to the ground. Ignoring his mockery, I turned to pick it up. As I tried to get up, a corner of the veil was brutally pinned down by his dress shoe. The balance I struggled to maintain was suddenly broken, my left foot stumbled, and I collapsed heavily to the ground, instantly feeling dizzy. "You can't even pick something up without falling over. What good are you? You've completely embarrassed Alex. Chad Peterson, that's enough." It wasn't until Alexander Caldwell's sharp rebuke that Chad Peterson's taunts against me stopped. He carefully lifted me up, completely disregarding the spilled drinks all over me. "I'm sorry, Sarah. Chad Peterson didn't mean it. It's just that after the last party, there was too much gossip about us, and he just couldn't stand it, so he took it out on you. But, proposing is a man's job. How could I let a girl like you go first?" As he spoke, he pulled out the decorative flowers from the table, and knelt on one knee in front of me. "Miss Sarah Miller, will you marry me?" I never imagined the proposal I'd waited 10 years for would come under such circumstances. I had imagined countless times what I would be like when he said those words. But now, looking at his expectant gaze, I only felt a chill run through my entire body. He clearly didn't love me, yet he appeared more devoted than anyone else. I suppressed the nausea churning within me, and forced out a look of remorse. "Alex, I was too hasty. You definitely have your own plans. And Chad Peterson was right. I'm to blame for making you endure unnecessary criticism. Perhaps we should just call off our engagement, that way you won't have to." My words were cut short by Alexander Caldwell. "I forbid you from talking about yourself like that. You are the woman Alexander Caldwell intends to marry. I said I would take care of you for life, and I will never break my word." Alexander Caldwell's face showed a seriousness I had never seen before. In the past, I would have been moved to tears and felt even more remorse towards him. But now, I could only marvel at his superb acting. I took a deep breath and slowly said, "I know. I'll wait for you." As soon as I finished speaking, I made an excuse and left. As usual, Alexander Caldwell made no attempt to stop me. This was because every one of his friends disliked me. They believed their brother couldn't possibly be with a cripple, completely forgetting that my limp was a result of saving Alexander Caldwell. But I hadn't gone far when I heard sneering laughter from inside again. "Alex, did you see her limping just now? Didn't she look like a penguin?" It was hilarious. Good thing you're in love with Chloe Miller. Otherwise, I couldn't possibly call someone like that my sister-in-law. I'm not asking you to call her sister-in-law, but you need to be careful, don't let her find out anything. She is, after all, Chloe's nominal Sarah, and I don't want her making trouble for Chloe. Also, I do feel bad about her, I wasted 10 years of her life. But I don't regret it. Love is never about right or wrong. I dug my nails tightly into my palm. The pain of my nails digging into my flesh was less than 1,000th of the agony in my heart. It wasn't until my phone buzzed with a message that my thoughts were interrupted. I've returned home. See you at the county clerk's office. Looking at the freshly issued marriage certificate in my hand, I felt no joy at all. Just a day ago, I was still firmly believing in Alexander Caldwell's love for me. But I never expected that in less than 24 hours, my world would be turned upside down. While I was lost in thought, the marriage certificate in my hand was snatched away by Daniel Hayes. I'll hold on to this for now. Grandpa Hayes wants to see it. All your paperwork to go abroad will be processed within 3 days. Wait for me. By the time I reacted, I only saw Daniel Hayes' retreating figure as he hurried away. Daniel Hayes was my playmate before I returned to the Miller's place. When the Miller's place first found me, the Hayes family had just found him too. He was just luckier than me. While I was away, the Miller's place adopted another girl to replace me, but the Hayes family had been looking for him all along. The day he left, he worried I would be bullied and promised to wait for me for 10 years. I had thought this 10-year promise would never be needed, but who knew it would come to this? Soon after Daniel Hayes left, I returned alone to Alexander's place. Watching the things Alexander gave me gradually disappearing in the fire, my eyes welled up with a bitter sting. If I hadn't heard it with my own ears, I would never have discovered that he had been putting on a 10-year act. While he was out, I went to his home office and opened his prized laptop. I unlocked the laptop using Chloe Miller's birthday, frantically searching through all the content on it, and finally found the answer in an encrypted document. The moment I clicked it open, I was greeted by countless photos of Chloe Miller, easily over 1,000. Each photo was meticulously dated and noted with the mood at the time of capture, showing just how deeply he felt for her. I masochistically flipped through every photo of Chloe Miller. With each one, a piece of my love for Alexander Caldwell vanished, until finally, it was all gone. So, for 10 years, every time Alexander Caldwell claimed to go abroad to find a doctor for my leg, it was actually a lie he told so he could watch Chloe Miller's competitions. In addition, at the end of the photos, there was an audio file. I trembling clicked it open, and my newly calmed emotions erupted once more. Mr. Caldwell, everything is arranged. Once Chloe Miller appears and has the title of your savior, even if Sarah Miller is the true heiress of the Miller's place, you can demand to replace her with Chloe Miller for the strategic marriage. What were you thinking? Why was it Sarah Miller who came to save me? Do you know I can't get rid of this trouble now? No wonder when I went to save Alexander Caldwell back then, his eyes were filled with shock, and he repeatedly urged me not to be impulsive. Who knew it wasn't an accident at all, but something he orchestrated? He even disregarded his own life just to be with Chloe Miller. Even though I already knew he didn't love me, my heart was still torn and aching. Throughout the 10 years of my left leg disability, no matter how many strange looks I faced, I never regretted saving him. Because he was the first person to care for and protect me after I returned to the Miller's place. I saw him as my life salvation, but I never imagined all my misfortunes were caused by him. Indeed, after 10 years of engagement, he never seemed to have said he loved me. But none of that matters anymore. He is married, and I am too. All I had to do was wait for Daniel Hayes to return, and then all the entanglement between us would end. That night, Alexander Caldwell didn't come home. His secretary told me he had found another reliable doctor, and had already left overnight. It wasn't until midnight that his call came as expected. Sarah, I've arrived. This doctor is very skilled this time. I believe he'll definitely be able to heal your leg. Also, I'm not home. If you feel lonely, go stay at the Miller's place. Don't try to be strong. The sudden burst of fireworks outside the window drowned out his next words. Through the video call, I clearly saw the initials of Alexander Caldwell and Chloe Miller displayed prominently. I stared intently behind him, forcibly suppressing the tremor in my body. Alexander Caldwell, you're lying to me, again. Unable to sleep all night, I was woken early the next morning by clattering sounds downstairs. I went down to check, but the scene in the kitchen froze me in place. At some point, Alexander Caldwell had returned, but he wasn't alone. Chloe Miller was wrapped around his waist, affectionately watching him making breakfast. They were chatting and laughing, jokingly even slipping her hand around his waist, looking every bit like a couple deeply in love. Yet, in front of me, he had always been reserved and distant. Even though we had lived together for 5 years, we still slept in separate rooms. As his gaze shifted, Alexander Caldwell finally saw me standing outside the kitchen. The soup ladle in his hand instantly slipped, and his eyes filled with panic. Chloe Miller was quickly pushed away by him, and his hands unconsciously rubbed against his body, a telltale habit of his when he lied. Sarah, why didn't you go back to the Miller's place? Don't misunderstand. Chloe returned home this morning without her keys. I happened to run into her at the airport, so I brought her back. She was just teaching me how to make breakfast. I almost put sugar instead of salt. Luckily she stopped me. Since you're here, let's have breakfast together. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sneer inwardly. No wonder he tried to persuade me to go back to the Miller's place last night. He didn't want me to interrupt their private time. Besides, who teaches someone how to make breakfast by putting their hand inside their clothes? But since I had already decided to leave, I had no intention of exposing his clumsy lies. I simply said slowly, as Alex, it's only right for you to help your sister. That's right, Alex. Thanks to you bringing me back. Otherwise, I would have been starving at the Miller's place's doorstep. Chloe Miller's voice was soft and sweet, completely like a little sister. But when she said the word, you, her eyes met Alexander Caldwell's, and an undeniable ambiguity flowed between them. They seemed to have completely forgotten I was still there. I tightly pinched my palm, to restrain the questions bubbling inside me. Suddenly, Chloe Miller took a box from her suitcase, and handed it to me. Sarah, this is a gift I carefully chose before returning home. Take a look, do you like it? If your leg injury hadn't been irreversible back then, the spot to dance abroad wouldn't have been mine. All these years, I've always felt like I owed you. I sneered, a cold smile playing on my lips. Is this all you think you owe me for? All those years I was missing, you enjoyed everything at the Miller's place in my stead. My fiancé, whom I considered my salvation, even conspired to make me a cripple for your sake. And now, I'm officially the other woman in your relationship. Seeing me hesitate to take it, Alexander Caldwell snatched the box and shoved it into my hand. Take it quickly. Chloe told me that you, Sarah, were the one she missed most while abroad. That's right, Sarah. I spent a long time choosing it. Open it quickly and see. Under their urging, I slowly opened the box. Inside was a pair of bright red high heels. Looking at the shoes in the box, my heart turned to ice. I turned to go upstairs. Sarah Miller, stop. Chloe kindly gave you a gift. Is this how you act as a sister? Don't you even have a word of thanks? I slowly turned around and said mockingly, how should I thank her? Should I thank her for giving high heels to a cripple, making me even more disabled? And what kind of sister am I to her? She doesn't even have the Miller's place bloodline. You. Alexander Caldwell was so stumped by my retort that he couldn't speak, and a hint of unbearable pain flickered across his face. Chloe, did you grab the wrong gift? Your sister, she. Hearing Alexander Caldwell's question, Chloe Miller's eyes instantly welled up with tears. Sarah, you misunderstood me. I didn't mean it like that. I truly just thought it suited you. I know you've always disliked me, and think I stole Mom and Dad's love from you. I shouldn't have come back. I'm sorry. I'll leave now. Wiping away her tears as she spoke, she grabbed her suitcase and walked out. Seeing this, the flicker of compassion on Alexander Caldwell's face instantly turned to rage. He abruptly snatched the shoe from my hand and hurled it violently at me. The heel grazed my cheek, accompanied by a searing pain. I fell heavily to the ground, unable to get up for a moment. Alexander Caldwell looked down at me struggling, and his words grew even crueler. Faking a fall again. You're more dramatic than a soap opera star. Chloe Miller insincerely walked up to me, pretending to help me up. Sarah, are you okay? The shoe wasn't that heavy. How could you just? I forced myself up, avoiding her touch. Save your fake kindness. Seeing that I still wouldn't accept Chloe Miller's gesture, Alexander Caldwell's gaze grew even colder, put on the shoes, and apologized to Chloe. No. I refused without hesitation. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. This is an order. Sarah Miller, do you still want me to marry you? I bit my lip hard, and stared intently into his eyes. Then don't marry me. Hearing this, Alexander Caldwell roughly pushed me down again, picked up the nearby shoes, and forcefully made me put them on. I struggled hard, but it was useless. I could only cry out helplessly. Alexander Caldwell, let go of me. I watched as those two shoes, symbols of humiliation, were still forced onto my feet, and suddenly gave up struggling. I stumbled to my feet and limped around the living room. See. Don't I look absolutely beautiful, wearing these? As soon as I finished speaking, I couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed to the floor. When I woke up again, I was back in my bedroom. Alexander Caldwell and Chloe Miller were long gone. It wasn't until the afternoon of the next day that I received a message from him. I took Chloe back to the Miller's place. Tonight, Evrion's holding a welcome home party for her return home. Make sure you attend on time. I didn't want to go, but the incessant ringing of my phone eventually made me leave. But as soon as I entered, Mom and Dad looked at me with displeasure, seeing my empty hands. Chloe gave you a gift the moment she returned yesterday. As Sarah, don't you know how to give a gift in return? You truly don't know any manners. Other guests nearby also turned to look at me. Isn't that the young lady from the Miller's place? She really thinks bloodline will solve everything. If it weren't for the strategic marriage with the Caldwells, who would want a cripple like her? She's been back at the Miller's place for 10 years now, but she still can't shake off that classless behavior. It's a good thing the Miller's place adopted Chloe Miller back then, at least she can hold her own now. Otherwise, relying on a cripple would just make them a laughing stock, wouldn't it? No sooner had they finished speaking than Chloe Miller appeared, wearing an expensive couture gown. She intimately linked arms with Mom and Dad, feigning anger, and scolded the crowd. We at the Miller's place don't welcome people who disrespect our hosts. What's more, without her, I wouldn't have had the chance to come to the Miller's place. Her leg injury is already a great sorrow for her. I forbid you from speaking about her like that. But Sarah, why aren't you wearing the shoes I gave you yesterday? If you think they're too cheap, you can tell me. I still have some prize money from competitions. Please don't kick me out. I promise I'll leave once I've repaid Mom and Dad's kindness. Chloe Miller was always like this. Every time she pretended to defend me, it only ended up making me more humiliated. This time was no different. Chloe Miller's words brought the recently quieted whispers back to me. Their gazes were filled with disdain and contempt. Sarah, you're here. Come in quickly. The party is about to start. Alexander Caldwell stood assertively in front of me, firmly gripping my hand. It seemed like he was defending me, but he only solidified Chloe Miller's slander against me. In the main hall, I sat alone in a corner. I watched as everyone gathered around Chloe Miller, praising her for being grateful and repaying kindness, and for becoming an internationally renowned dancer at such a young age. The smiles on Mom and Dad's and Alexander Caldwell's faces never ceased. They were beaming with pride. This scene stung my eyes. They had never smiled at me like that, not even before my leg was injured. I practiced day and night and finally won a championship, but instead of praise, I was accused of being too vain and lacks the refinement expected of a young lady. Now, with someone else, everything was reversed. How ridiculous! Ethan Hayes' phone call pulled me out of the oppressive atmosphere. I got up and walked to the corner to answer it. Before I could speak, Chelsea Collins' mocking voice came from behind me. Olivia, you must be heartbroken, aren't you? You're supposedly the Collins family's biological daughter, yet you're living a worse life than me, the adopted daughter. Honestly, I should probably thank you. If you hadn't gotten lost back then, I wouldn't have had the chance to join the Collins family, nor would I have met Daniel Sullivan. I stared at her, my face expressionless, and retorted mockingly. Since you know you stole my life to get where you are now, is this how you treat your benefactor? At that, she dropped the pretense. Benefactor. If you truly wanted to be my benefactor, you shouldn't have come back. For 18 years, I was the one and only miss of the Collins family. You stole what was mine. But it makes no difference now. I told you long ago that you couldn't beat me. Seeing your parents and fiancé treat you as if you're invisible, you just can't stand it, can you? Oh, and your leg. Did you really think the Collins and Sullivan families couldn't cure your injury? All it took was a few tears from me, and Daniel Sullivan felt so heartbroken he had all your medication switched out. To this day, I still smile in my sleep whenever I remember the pathetic sight of you after you realized you were crippled. I stared intently at my crippled left leg, the years of ridicule and injustice I'd suffered flashing through my mind. I couldn't hold back any longer. I slapped Chelsea Collins hard across the face. In an instant, her face swelled up red. Yet, instead of retaliating, she curved her lips into a smirk. Before I could react, she deliberately leaned into my force and stumbled backward, right into Daniel Sullivan's arms. Olivia Collins, are you out of your mind? Chelsea was worried you'd be bored alone, so she specifically came out to keep you company. Is this how you treat her? Chelsea Collins clutched her face, lying weakly in Daniel Sullivan's arms, and sobbed softly. Daniel, I'm so sorry. I just saw she was struggling and wanted to help her. I didn't expect her to react so violently and suddenly attack me. Please don't argue with Olivia, Daniel. After all, the Collins family raised me, and she's also my benefactor. It's just one slap, let's just let it go. Seeing her put on another act, the anger inside me surged even higher. Let it go. Why should I let it go? Daniel Sullivan, how exactly did my leg become crippled? Don't you owe me an explanation? A flicker of panic crossed Daniel Sullivan's eyes, but he quickly composed himself. Explain what? Haven't I done enough these past 10 years? So many people advised me not to get engaged to you, but I stuck by you. How much longer are you going to keep this up? Do I have to give you my life as compensation? Olivia Collins, I truly regret ever letting you save me. With that, Daniel Sullivan snatched a dinner knife from a nearby server tray and moved to slash his wrist, but he was immediately restrained by the crowd that had just rushed over. Is she crazy? She's pushed Mr. Sullivan this far. What more does she want? She's just taking advantage of his kindness and acting recklessly. Look at her. If Mr. Sullivan hadn't been so generous, who would ever want her? Ignoring their taunts, I spoke to Daniel Sullivan, every word deliberate. Daniel Sullivan, you don't need to regret anything. I'm not marrying you. More sneering laughter erupted. Daniel Sullivan broke free from the crowd and walked up to me, his face filled with disdain. Olivia Collins, as you wish. Our engagement is off. But before that, you must apologize to Chelsea. As he spoke, he reached out, trying to grab me. I quickly backed away, and just as he was about to catch me, a figure forcefully appeared between Daniel Sullivan and me. I'm sorry, darling, I'm late. Darling. Daniel Sullivan's eyes immediately turned bloodshot, his shocked gaze darting between Ethan Hayes and me. He asked again, disbelief in his voice, you married him I remained calm and nodded slowly. Yes. His face instantly drained of color, and he stumbled back a step. Olivia Collins, you're my fiancée. How could you marry someone else? I won't allow it. I won't allow it. He roared hysterically, trying to step forward and confront me, but Ethan Hayes blocked him again. Seeing the situation escalate, Chelsea Collins quickly grabbed Daniel Sullivan. Daniel, please don't be like this. Olivia must be lying to you. She likes you so much. How could she marry someone else? Hearing Chelsea Collins' words, Daniel Sullivan gradually calmed down. He straightened his disheveled suit, stared into my eyes, and said in a low voice, Olivia Collins, explain yourself. Otherwise, don't expect my forgiveness. I looked at his expression, feeling utterly speechless, and retorted sarcastically, then don't forgive me. Daniel Sullivan froze at my words. Suddenly, Chelsea Collins dropped to her knees before me with a thud, her face incredibly sorrowful. Olivia, it's all my fault. Please don't argue with Daniel. I know you've always suspected something between Daniel and me, but there's truly nothing going on between us. You don't need to hire someone to put on a show over something so baseless. They were the ones who played me, yet now it was as if I was deliberately putting on an act to humiliate them. I didn't want to argue with them, I just wanted to leave with Ethan Hayes. But Chelsea Collins wouldn't let me go. She blocked our path, her voice thick with grievance. Olivia, don't leave. I'm the one who should go. I'll leave the country right now, and never come back. I just hope you and Daniel can be happy together. Unfortunately, after only a few steps, she suddenly stopped, on the verge of falling. Daniel Sullivan quickly scooped up Chelsea Collins, and looked at me coldly. Olivia Collins, what exactly are you trying to do? The onlookers, fueled by their performance, were so enraged they looked like they wanted to kick me, as if I were some heinous criminal. The corners of my eyes stung, and I used all my strength to keep the tears from falling. Ethan Hayes noticed my distress, squeezed my hand tightly, and softly reassured me, don't be afraid. I'm here. Ethan had always been a bit of a wild card in our neighborhood growing up, but he reined in his rebellious nature after returning to the Hayes family, and taking over the reins. Seeing me like this now, he finally couldn't hold back. He strode forward, swinging his fist down hard onto Daniel Sullivan's face. Daniel Sullivan was holding Chelsea Collins, and couldn't dodge in time, causing both of them to fall heavily to the ground. Daniel. Chelsea Collins scrambled up, crying out, and cradled Daniel Sullivan's face, her heart aching unbearably. Olivia, Daniel just wanted an explanation from you. How could you let someone hit him? Daniel Sullivan shook off Chelsea Collins' touch, and just as he was about to get up and fight back, Ethan Hayes kicked him over again. When you got engaged to her back then, I warned you not to let me see you mistreat her, or I'd never let you off the hook. And this is your promise to me? Daniel Sullivan froze for a moment. He scrutinized Ethan Hayes, finally recognizing him. It's you. Ethan Hayes didn't respond, instead flinging a marriage certificate at his face. Look closely. Olivia Collins is already married to me. We are now legally wed, and from now on, I will protect everything concerning her. Daniel Sullivan trembled as he opened the marriage certificate, then demanded fiercely, Olivia Collins, how could you be so cruel? 10 years of our relationship, and you just gave up on it, just like that. He seemed to be in extreme pain. The man who had always been so arrogant and aloof now unreservedly shed tears in front of everyone. But far from feeling satisfied, I just felt speechless. He was the one who wove a 10-year deception for me, yet now it seemed like I was the one in the wrong. I sneered, pulled out my phone, and mass texted the secrets from his computer to everyone present. Daniel Sullivan, you're truly hypocritical. Who's really heartless here? Let everyone judge for themselves now. After all, I was just learning from you. You and Chelsea Collins legalized your marriage before Ethan Hayes, and I did. As soon as I said that, the scene grew chaotic. Some onlookers quickly pulled out their phones to check. Oh, wow, I never expected this. No wonder Olivia Collins was supposed to be his fiancée, yet he's been defending Chelsea Collins so fiercely. So, they've been secretly together all along. Mr. Sullivan is something else, leading a double life in this country and overseas. Who would have thought? Seeing things go south, Daniel Sullivan snatched a bystander's phone. He tapped it open, and the phone instantly slipped from his grasp. He murmured in disbelief, how did you see these? I thought I'd locked them all with a password. Hearing this, there was nothing left for those present to misunderstand. The contempt and disdain they had for me now swiftly returned to themselves. Seizing the opportunity, I pulled Ethan Hayes and turned to leave. On the way, seeing Ethan Hayes' ashen face, I cautiously spoke, didn't we agree to finish the paperwork in 3 days? Why are you here already? And when Daniel Sullivan and I got engaged, you came but didn't even come to see me. But no matter how I tried to change the subject, Ethan Hayes remained silent. Left with no choice, I resorted to the same domineering attitude I had when I used to tease him as a child, and yelled, Ethan, if you don't say something, I'm going to get angry. Liv, why are you yelling? If I hadn't come, who knows how much more you'd have been bullied. You foolish girl, you actually kept quiet about it for 10 whole years and never told me. It turned out that during the 10 years we were apart, he had been keeping track of my situation all along. Only I was foolishly waiting for the 10-year pact. Furthermore, he had already returned to the country when he called me. Hearing Chelsea Collins' incessant mockery through the phone, he was so furious that he didn't even bother to collect his luggage, running countless red lights to reach the Collins family in the shortest possible time. Hearing him ramble on just like before. My heart, however, felt unusually calm. At least there was still one person in this world who truly cared about me. Meanwhile, at the Collins family home, after the guests left, the Sullivan family parents also arrived. Daniel Sullivan sat on the sofa, his face grim, staring blankly in the direction I had left. Chelsea Collins unconsciously dug her nails into her fingers, her face filled with unease. Both sets of parents' phones kept ringing incessantly. Someone had apparently posted the photos, which were originally only circulating among the guests, online. This instantly sparked a heated discussion. After all, Daniel Sullivan had always appeared before the public as an image of an upstanding and grateful individual before this. The ringing phone once again ignited Mr. Sullivan's fury. He roared, no comment, and furiously slammed his phone onto the floor. Seeing this, Mrs. Sullivan awkwardly forced a smile. Don't be angry, dear. How about we release a statement saying that Daniel's true love is Chelsea, and that Olivia Collins blackmailed him with her life-saving act, forcing him into the engagement, and that it was all Olivia Collins' one-sided obsession. Mr. Collins violently smashed the glass in front of him. No. Olivia is my biological daughter. If you say that, how will she ever face anyone again? Mr. Sullivan impatiently plopped down on the sofa. Then what do you suggest we do? They've both legalized their marriages now. Can they just swap back? Look at the public opinion online. If we don't fix this, our family's stock prices will be ruined as soon as the stock market opens tomorrow. But you can't just dump all the blame on my daughter. I see it clearly now. The Sullivan family is truly malicious. Daniel Sullivan has ruined both of my daughters. At this, Chelsea Collins suddenly grabbed Mr. Collins' hand and frantically slapped her own face with it. Stop arguing, both of you. Dad, it's all my fault. Hit me, please. I failed your nurturing kindness. I'll go beg Olivia to come back. Seeing her look so regretful, Mr. Collins sighed, ultimately unable to bear it. All right, what's done is done. You two should go ahead and hold the wedding soon. I won't. Daniel Sullivan's single refusal made everyone turn their gaze towards him. Yet he showed no fear, stating coldly, I will not hold a wedding with her. My bride can only be Olivia. When Chelsea and I legalized our marriage overseas, I made it clear to her, our relationship was only for overseas. In this country, I would only marry Olivia. Large tears instantly streamed down Chelsea Collins' face. She trembled, unable to utter a single word. Mr. Collins was shaking with rage. Say that again. Who are you going to marry? Daniel Sullivan, however, dropped to his knees with a thud, insisting, Olivia Collins, I want to marry Olivia Collins. Hearing this, Mr. Sullivan grabbed a nearby cane and repeatedly struck Daniel Sullivan heavily across the back. You ungrateful wretch. I'll beat you to death, you scoundrel. You've ruined the relationship between the Collins and Sullivan families. In an instant, blood welled up from Daniel Sullivan's back. Chelsea Collins quickly shielded him with her body. Daniel, didn't you say I was the only one you loved? Now we can finally be together openly, why won't you agree? Daniel Sullivan, however, roughly pushed her away, his eyes full of disdain. It's all your fault. If you hadn't insisted on legalizing our marriage overseas, how would Olivia have ended up marrying someone else? Get away from me. Seeing this, Mr. Collins couldn't take it anymore. He roared and drove the entire Sullivan family out. Get out. All of you, get out. By this time, Ethan Hayes and I were already on the plane leaving. Watching the city below grow smaller and smaller, I silently said to myself, Daniel Sullivan, we'll never see each other again. As soon as we got off the plane, Ethan Hayes took me to a local hospital. A few days later, seeing my leg like that of a normal person, I couldn't help but be moved to tears. It turned out that the disability that had plagued me for 10 years could be cured in just a few days. Daniel Sullivan, you truly deceived me deeply. Try taking a few steps. Ethan Hayes' words interrupted my thoughts. Supported by him, I took one step after another, moving forward until I was drenched in sweat, yet feeling no fatigue at all. Back in the hospital bed, I looked at Ethan Hayes, who was diligently peeling an apple for me, and finally voiced the question that had been in my heart all along. Ethan Hayes, do you like me? Ethan Hayes paused his apple peeling for just a second. I instantly held my breath nervously. I heard him reply casually, not like. It's love. I've always loved you. After this confession, Ethan Hayes stopped holding back. He had wedding rings and wedding dresses sent to the hospital for me to choose from. Looking at the items piled high in the hospital room, I couldn't help but lie in bed and complain. Ethan, what kind of sane person tries on these things in a hospital? Couldn't we wait until I'm discharged? He then slipped a ring onto my finger, comparing it carefully as he said, no. I've been preparing for this wedding for 10 years. I can't wait another moment. On the day I was discharged, I put on my wedding dress and got into the car, heading straight for the wedding venue. But halfway there, the car was suddenly struck, and a pair of hands yanked me, dizzy and disoriented, from inside. I focused my eyes and saw it was Daniel Sullivan. How could he be here? Although his appearance shocked me, my body quickly made a decision to break free and leave. Yet, he wasn't angry. Instead, his eyes were full of joyful surprise. Olivia Collins, your leg is healed. As he spoke, he took a few steps forward, intent on embracing me. I quickly retreated a few steps, widening the distance between us. Seeing this, he stopped his advance and his face turned grim. Only then did I have a chance to truly look at him. In just half a month, he had become unshaven and frighteningly thin. He was a far cry from the once highly sought-after head of the Sullivan Group. But none of that mattered to me anymore. I turned to leave, but he seized my wrist in a death grip. Olivia, don't go. Will you come back to the country with me? His words made me laugh, out of sheer anger. Daniel Sullivan, how pathetic must you think I am to be willing to be with you, after everything that's happened? I looked at him with cold eyes, and after a long moment, I said mockingly, Daniel Sullivan, I won't be a mistress. You're calling yourself a mistress. Aren't I? After his shock, Daniel Sullivan's face was filled with hurt, as if those two words were directed at him, not me. But in fact, the day he and Chelsea Collins legalized their marriage, he had already pushed me into being morally condemned. It's not like that. I genuinely wanted you to be my wife. I was drunk the day Chelsea and I legalized our marriage, and besides, a certificate from overseas has no effect in this country, does it? He was still trying to argue. For the first time, I wondered if the person I had loved for 10 years was truly him. You're unimportant was a thorn deeply embedded in my heart. I looked at him and calmly said, that's just what you think. The day I found out you and Chelsea Collins legalized your marriage, I stopped loving you. Today is my wedding to Ethan Hayes. If you want to watch, you're welcome to stay. If not, go home. No, I can't. I won't go back alone. To find you, I've endured pressure from both the Collins and Sullivan families, refused to hold a wedding with Chelsea, and faced so much scorn. How can you just say you don't love me anymore? After speaking, Daniel Sullivan's eyes gradually turned red. He pulled my wrist even harder, desperately trying to shove me into his car. Come on. Let's go back to the country, get divorced, and then we'll legalize our marriage again. Just as I felt despair, the sound of a car engine came from behind. Stop. Ethan Hayes finally arrived with his people. He ordered his bodyguards to pin Daniel Sullivan firmly to the ground. And, still not satisfied, he kicked him. Liv, are you okay? Looking at his concerned eyes, I suppressed my inner fear and shook my head. Ethan Hayes' tense expression relaxed. He stepped forward and planted a foot firmly on Daniel Sullivan's face. Who gave you the audacity to come here and try to steal my wife? Men, break one of his legs. You used to mock Liv for being crippled, didn't you? I'll let you experience it for yourself. Just as I was about to stop Ethan Hayes, Daniel Sullivan, undeterred by the danger, yelled, Olivia Collins, do you see? The man you chose is so malicious and ruthless. Do you really dare to spend your life with him? Ethan Hayes' brow furrowed, provoked by his attempt to sow discord. I signaled him with my eyes to hold back. I, however, stepped in front of Daniel Sullivan, looking into his eyes filled with anticipation, malicious and ruthless. Who's more malicious and ruthless than you? Ethan Hayes only said he'd break your leg, but you actually, and truly ruined mine. You didn't think I only saw those photos on your computer, did you? I began to recount everything from the audio recordings in front of Daniel Sullivan. With every sentence I spoke, his face grew a shade paler, until finally, he had no strength left to struggle. But I wasn't finished with him. I continued, my leg shouldn't have been crippled at all back then. You replaced my medication and utterly destroyed my life. Daniel Sullivan, tell me, who's more malicious and ruthless than you? At this, despair began to spread through Daniel Sullivan. Yet, he still didn't want to give up, so he slumped and crawled to my feet, looking up at me and apologizing incessantly. I'm sorry, Olivia. What will it take for you to forgive me? This time, it was my turn to look down at him. Only then did I realize that the man I had loved for 10 years was nothing more than this. I will never forgive you. With that, I got into Ethan Hayes' car and drove away. He was nothing compared to the importance of Ethan Hayes and my wedding. After the wedding, I never saw Daniel Sullivan again. I only heard news of him at a community gathering. Daniel Sullivan had both legs amputated. After returning to the country, he still refused to be with Chelsea Collins. In a fit of rage, Chelsea Collins drove her car and violently crashed into him on his way to work. Chelsea Collins died on the spot, and he lost both his legs. Hearing this, I simply murmured a single thought. Karma.